Right, man, just got in, eh?
Yes, just made it. How are we, boys? How's everybody in isolation?
Yeah, good. Not going too bad.
Yeah, good.
Same.
My dick hasn't been too isolated from my hand, to tell you that much.
That's the spirit, and I imagined it wouldn't have been, my friend.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Freddie. You're up there with George Tafua. Like, Georgie, for that massive shot he put on Cam Munster, you are very well liked for doing the crossfield flick pass into the hoop.
Yeah, not the flick though, but just the normal pass.
Oh, just a normal pass, yeah.
But because I was looking at those flick passes, I was like, oh yeah, sweet. They're passing it to a running person that can catch a ball. I was like, I'll just do it to an object that. But I can't flick like that. I've tried.
You're trying to say your heat's better than Quade Cooper at everything?
Not better than his rig, bro.
No,
Jesus Christ.
You'd be better defensively. Definitely better defensively. But
what's he doing now?
he was playing in Japan.
Oh, okay.
He'd be a great mover. There was talk, he said he wouldn't mind exploring options, maybe the Wolfpack. But he'd be handy. He'd be better than some of the blokes I've got. He did play league as a junior too, Quade Cooper.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be handy if he did join the league side. Maybe not
Probably,
in the NRL,
but anywhere lower than the NRL, I reckon
he'd go all right.
Could play him at fullback even.
He could.
Brilliant on his feet.
He'd be that like draw card a little bit as well.
To go see him and Sonny play together.
Yeah, kind of like when with Israel in the AFL, that kind of thing. Use him as that.
That was the ultimate marketing tool.
You wouldn't be able to have him in the NRL. I reckon he'd just get. You'd try and pin. They'd try and poster him up to be this great star, and then once he got there, I reckon he'd just get shown up a bit, by the NRL talent and being from Union.
Because he hasn't played league since he was a kid.
Exactly.
Garrick Morgan, when he signed with the Crushers, they signed a whole bunch of rugby union blokes at the time. One was Anthony Herbert, who was a Wallaby. Garrick Morgan was one of the best forwards in Australia and was regularly playing international rugby. Had good skills, as a lot of big rugby union blokes do. He probably had all right pace over about 10 metres, like off the line type thing, but he was too big, too cumbersome. And they paid him good money. You know how many first grade games he played?
No.
2.
I was going to guess 3.
2. Then by the end of it, he was coming off the bench in reserve grade.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that was the thing, because I don't know if he'd had any sort of history in league. I'd spoke to a mate once who was a conditioner there at the Crushers, and he said that first couple of sessions, they thought he just was a bit underdone. And I said, we'll give him a bit. I said, as it went on, he was struggling too much. The difference between league and union running then, before they were full-time professionals, and it wasn't around that Super League era that union decided to buy in. They were more like, until you're playing Super 12 back then, I think it was, and international, you were just basically doing club training twice a week.
Mm.
So just to jump up to being a professional sportsman was way too big.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the agility around the middle. You get targeted up. Look at big blokes now. At park footy level, we have unlimited interchange. You've got to drag these blokes off quick too, especially if you're getting tired, because they just work you over in the guts.
Yeah, but going back to that pass through the hoop, did you see Voorhees straight away? Oi, let's see it off the ground. And then so straight away, that's in my head. I'm like, I'm going to do it, you little fucker.
It's good the challenge is out there.
Oh. I'd like to see Voorhees could fucking get that distance off the ground for sure.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
He's probably the longest passer of footy I've seen. Besides, out of the hands, Miles can throw a ball. Like Dave Miles, he can really throw a ball. Voorhees would be pretty good because rugby, they teach you that suits their game. Passing off the ball when you fly half.
Was Milesy's, was it left to right is stronger than his right to left?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Because he was on that, in that game, he was on that right side, wasn't he?
Mm.
And he was handy too. Fuck, he could break some tackles.
Oh, me and Dana were thinking, can you give him a call and we'll just put on loudspeaker?
I was going to. Didn't you see he commented on my Insta this morning?
No, on your Insta?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, he just said, when I had that photo of me and Zara, when I was training and she sat in my back while I was doing planks, he said, good work, mate. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Happy Easter. Hope you and the family are well.
Yeah.
But we could get him on the blower at some stage.
Well, no, like tonight.
I don't know if we could get him on tonight.
You just got to call him though, see if he picks up.
Might not now.
Why do you reckon it's too late?
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's in Brizzy. Oh, he'd have to be. I don't know if how far out of Brizzy could get, but I don't know. I could try calling him.
Yeah, I reckon we give it a go.
All right.
When we start
He-
breaking that game down.
Yeah, he had a sweet game too in that
Yeah.
game. It was fucking. He was.
And you could see
Real
they
good.
they were on the verge of when they made the finals, like 3 out of the next 4 years. You could just see it all coming together.
Yeah.
Like I had,
Wait, but before you get into footy, like your week, how's your week going, Wrighty?
no, I just go to work, come home,
Yeah.
do a bit of training here and there, watch replay the games, or I watch shows like on Fox. Oh, I've got my missus has got Fox, so we just added that app. I
Yeah.
either watch Netflix, Fox. I watch KO a lot.
Mm.
Watch a lot of docos. OJ Simpson, Made in America. If you're really into your deep sort of stuff, it was all about a lot of cultural stuff too, not just OJ,
Yeah.
but watching his journey of superstar celebrity, how he kind of, some would call it, Uncle Tom, sold out. He was like a white black man. You know what I mean? He didn't really do a lot for his culture or his people. He was just out really promoting his brand. Like when all that shit was going down over the years in the US, like Rodney King, things like that. OJ was not making any comments whatsoever, and he was in LA in the riots.
Yeah. And he killed people and got away with it.
Allegedly, they say that,
What a mad dog.
and then some say that was part of the payback for Rodney King, for the Rodney King drama a few years before. Yeah, that money goes to show in certain countries, if you can pay for the best legal people, they've only got to put element of doubt in the jury.
Yeah.
Only got to put element of doubt, and that was enough. But that was a great. I've watched a heap. Small Potatoes is a good one about the USFL. It was like a second-tier NFL comp that was on in the 80s. Great stuff. Didn't last.
What kind of like an arena league or just?
Yeah, a bit. Very similar.
Or what's the
to
one they're running now?
XFL? It's just faded.
Yeah.
Didn't you see that? It's just they've just died in the arse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone's been made redundant. They doubt they're going to be
Jesus.
participating in next season even. It's dead. It's buried, unfortunately.
I'll go Goldie if you want. Yeah, so Dano brought in the bloke in a bar. Shout out to
Oh, yeah, they're quite nice.
shout out to old
Oh,
Campy.
good on you, buddy. Yeah, so I love all that sort of, some of those deep shows.
Yeah.
It was a great one on Christian Leitner. He was ex-NBA guy, played college, bought all at Duke. Just a super competitor.
Crazy.
And people just hated him because he was a real...
Crazy good shooter too.
Yeah, just a real
Crazy.
intense way to play. You know, there's guys who, they've got talent, but the bloke's heaps more talent. Just a super
He
competitor.
was like one of the original 3-point messiahs. Once the 3-point line was there, he was just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And when he came into the league, he was always in the struggling sides. So it was
Yeah.
he only had out of his, it was 10-year plus career, he only probably had 2 or 3 winning seasons. But he went to Atlanta one year, they made the playoffs, and he made the All-Star team. He made the All-Star game. So he showed what he could do when he did. And they had to pick one college player. They decided to pick one college player to play in the Dream Team
Yeah.
in the Barcelona Olympics. They put him in, and that turned some people against him because, like, Shaq and that were in the NBA at the time
Yeah,
playing.
they didn't get a
Didn't turn
chance.
Shaq against him. He said he's a great player. Good luck to him.
Yeah,
And-
he was. It did seem weird seeing the dream.
And
team
he
having
didn't
that
get to
college bloke in
play.
there.
You were just basically
Just to
like
take him
18th
for a
man
ride,
in
you
the
know,
NFL. Yeah, just not.
Didn't that there was a doco that just dropped about that Chicago team?
85.
Yeah,
the
but
Bears. Oh man, they were good.
no, for
In the Bulls.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's on Netflix or anything. I think they dropped it on like Showtime over
I haven't
there.
seen
Or
that yet,
yeah,
no.
but they reckon
No,
it's
I
sweet.
I did see one interview with Luke Longley, and they went back to Chicago, and people were still recognising Longley now. They went to this diner,
He would have been
And-
a hero. For
and
the whole
people were
Niners,
coming out
though.
getting photos with him who worked at the diner because they'd been there for that long, and he said he used to go there
Yeah.
when he lived in Chicago. They remembered him and got photos with him, things like that.
So with basketball, because Dano, you're a bit of a baller yourself. If you're a bit shorter in the league, like guys coming through that know that they're going to be a bit shorter, you're just trying to drain threes. Like
you pretty much, yeah. You just got to work on that. Like, you see all the successful blokes who are like around the 6 foot or under, have crazy good handles, and like can find a pass and find a shot.
Yeah.
Instead of like the bigger blokes who are more athletic and always find a way to cut to the hoop or drive lanes, like crazy good when you got smaller blokes like Kyrie Irving who can just take anyone off the dribble and create a shot, or like even smaller blokes like Isaiah Thomas can spot up for a 3 or can find a pass. Like, I think the goal is if you were shorter, just develop your handle and develop your passing game, and it'd be killer.
To say how good the NBA is reflects on how many quality players will be playing in leagues around the world but can't get a gig. So it says the blokes there in the league, how outstanding they've got to be. They do. Have you ever watched on ESPN? They used to do this street ball tournament, Dano. How good these guys are, and they're
Incredible.
they're not linked with any sort of semi-professional or professional organisation.
That's the thing. You look at the thing I find weird. You see some blokes play basketball, and you think, "Holy fuck, you're incredible." These blokes never ruin a handle. Always just pretty much every shot they take seems like it goes in. Crazy good defenders and stuff. You think, how come you haven't made anything? It's just because everyone else everyone in the NBA is freakish. Even the blokes who don't play minutes are just dead set, sitting right down the end of the bench, like 11th and 12th man.
Yeah,
them blokes will still be 10 times better than anyone.
It's crazy because you got a sport that's accessible for everyone in it. There's courts everywhere in every fucking neighborhood, and then you've got people that enjoy doing it. So it's a sport that everyone loves. It's accessible for everyone. It's got very limited numbers on a team.
Yeah,
fucking the percentage of making it pro would have to be the lowest in any other sport, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it'd have to be.
Yet you could go playing like a Spanish league, somewhere like that, Germany, and be living a very good
China's
life.
Got a big league. There's a lot of the Euro leagues are crazy. The Europeans love it.
I'd have to play in like a pygmy league.
Don't
you'd be
sell
playing
yourself
like
short, mate.
those
You're
dwarf colonies.
You're on Insta as a celebrity at the moment, mate. After that flip
Yeah, 100 views, celebrity.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're a bloke.
Big time.
Like we were talking about Christian Leitner and that. Then he wasn't an elite player in the league. He was just a good player. You know what I mean? In college, he dominated. And this is no offense to him, but Longley didn't stand out. Longley's scouting report, Luke Longley, it said has no idea when to shoot or how to shoot. This was one scout said about him. And then he gets traded to the Bulls. He was Minnesota.
5 rings or 4 rings or whatever.
Minnesota Timberwolves. He was handy, and then they traded for him and his 3 championships. And people can say it's because of Jordan. You filled a role in a team. Every team's got a superstar, and you're filling your bit role in that.
Yeah, it's easy to say, it's because of this, because of that, but when you're sitting there with rings on your fingers, it doesn't really matter, eh?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You know what I mean? There's only how many Aussies have got rings? 2.
Yeah.
There'd be 3 actually. It'd be Gaze was at San Antonio when they won, but he didn't play a minute. He came in and
Paddy Mills has got one.
Oh, Mills 4. It'd be 4.
Mills,
Dellavedova. Longley, yeah.
Longley.
That's pretty impressive in this sort of thing.
Yeah, Andrew Bogut would be unlucky not to get one.
Bogut, yeah, Bogut.
Fuck, remember Bogut's arm snap?
Oh, that's disgusting, wasn't it? That was like one of the first times I ever cried at watching a sports injury.
Were you watching the game?
No, I wasn't. I said just like I follow heaps of basketball shit and always have, and it just come up straight away on my Facebook, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like probably 13 years old, 14 years old, and I think I started crying instantly. It was the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. His arm just turned into a piece of paper mache and just ugh. When
he got drafted out of the University of Utah, they had the first round pick. In the NBA and the NFL. Alex Smith got drafted number 1 in the NFL. Bogut went number 1 in the NBA. I think. Yeah.
Only Aussie to be taken.
But they make a bit of money over in Europe, don't they?
Oh yeah,
European.
You can do that.
Blokes who have had a good tenure in the NBA and they still
Japan.
China's the bigger one for basketball.
Okay.
But they're still happy to go over and play Euro leagues and stuff.
What do you reckon they're on when they come over here?
Bogut's different because he's got part ownership in the Kings.
Yeah,
he's the marquee player.
See, LaMelo Ball, he's a 18-year-old kid just put his name in for the draft for next year. He hasn't even played in the NBA. He just bought the Illawarra Hawks, the team he played for last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his brother plays in the league, yeah.
Lonzo Ball plays for the Lakers, and his brother LiAngelo is also a handy ballo. trying to work his
Lonzo,
way through the G League.
they traded him to
He's
Orleans
at New Orleans.
with Zion.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So he's gone down and just kind of they've loaned you out. They know you're not going to stay the whole season.
Yeah.
But the marketing thing of it, and they're like in the gong and that, all of a sudden more people are going to watch.
Yeah.
Because
He got massive.
Ball's playing
When Ball
there.
was there, massive. He's just a massive name, and just his namesake's like crazy. And the fact that he's been playing in a professional league and been scouted by all these scouts that talking him up as probably the number one or top 3 prospect for the draft next year.
Yeah, and it's to put yourself on show, put yourself in that shop window.
Yeah.
And that's when I was talking about the USFL before. That'd be great because it was in the opposite to the NFL season. So if you had a young bloke coming out of college trying to show his wares against better defences, and that's similar to what they're doing.
That's exactly the thing that you think about, like with blokes like LaMelo coming out of a professional league, getting drafted out of a professional league instead of college. Like, college is great basketball, but like you look at Luka Doncic 2 years ago, got drafted out of the Euro League. He played for Barcelona, and he was the MVP of the Euro League when he was 17 and 18, and he just dominated and they select him out of that league, and now he's leading the MVP race, him and Giannis.
Oh, really?
This year.
So he's
like,
crucifying it.
Yeah, he's pretty much just like pinned up on a cross and just getting stuck in.
That playing against men and dominating, like, you know, that brings out the best in some blokes. Where I don't know about college ball, but I know, like, in American football, college defences is shitter. You know what I mean? So I don't know about there's a lot more points scored in college b-ball.
College is played in halves, and it's like it's a bit scrappier. Like even when you look at professional leagues around the world, the defenses are a lot better. The game structure is a lot better. So by the time they get to the NBA, they should be sort of more used to the the pin-up, I suppose, of the defense.
And that'd be the big thing, wouldn't it, when you get into that higher level? And there is, like, if college ball is like, say, cup, and the bigs is like the NRL, there's no in between to see how you're going to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They can't ease you into it, and it's just a sort of, and it can be you're in or you're out. But they can give like 6 week contracts. You can get like
you can get 10-day contracts. You can get
which you'd take if you like. Remember Bogut after his first year at the Kings, and then they decided to get him back to the Warriors. You know, things like that. American sport are a lot more open like that. You know, short deals.
Open. That Andre Ingram came in for the last 2 games of the 2017 season for the Lakers. He was a 41-year-old math teacher.
Yeah.
And they gave him a 10-day contract. He came in, he shot like...
How much was the 10-day contract?
Oh, no idea. But he came in and on his debut game, shot 8 from 8 from deep and scored like 35 points. It would have
been $100,000, I reckon, easy.
Probably, something like that.
Yeah. Because that's...
He played for the Lakers G League team for like ever.
See, they have that.
Are we a basketball podcast now?
There's not much footy on. The G League, that's a perfect example of what the USFL was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just to back up,
but
sides have somewhere to
these
pull
NBA sides have their teams in there.
Like a sacrificial league.
Yeah, and they can give you exposure and watch how you develop playing regular games in their systems and their coaches. Probably their assistants normally coach these sides, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's good times.
And what about
a lot of those players? Like a lot of the G League players are the ones who ride the bench too. Like blokes coming in from the G League, a couple of them will tend to sit on the bench for a lot of the season for the NBA. So
want to keep
and then sort of keep it in the system. So
like playing reserve grade.
Yeah, it's another way it's pretty much a reserve grade. So not every side has a G League side or anything like that, but it's a secondary league where you can send players, and players can be dropped back there, players can be brought
like
up.
At the minor leagues in baseball and that too. One thing about the US...
Tell you what, that minors is a fucking beast of a job, those boys. They're travelling around on buses playing minor league baseball.
And the money you get?
Yeah, because you got like, what is it, like single A, double A, triple A in the minors.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So people don't realise how many leagues
they're getting money just to pretty much just to cruise.
And you've got not like the big money like in the majors.
Yeah.
You're like staying in the cheaper hotels and stuff like that, which is what you do if you want to make it.
Yeah, and you're traveling the whole time, just playing, trying to push it up. But it's just it's a hard gig because baseball plays so many games
Yeah.
a
Oh,
year.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
And you can be in, out that quick
Yeah.
or a couple of games.
That's the
Similar to
thing.
the NBA.
That's the thing. You can be in and out so quick, especially
Yeah.
sports like that. Like if you make one wrong decision, you just crucified on the spot. They don't give a fuck about it.
Well, look
They
at
just pin you up
Zion
and-
in the NBA, number 1 pick, absolute talent. I thought he was missing the whole season. He was out that long. But now he just
it
started
felt like it,
playing and then started showing his potential, scoring plenty
Yeah.
in the league. So
He had
he looked
like
like a
his
star.
first 8 games over 25 points or something, and then just bagging like 10 rebounds a game as well.
it's unbelievable
for a
the
teenager.
durability in sport of some blokes like LeBron and these other blokes that stay around in the league for so long. Talking about those minors,
Well, LeBron's like he's just the Jesus of NBA at the moment.
He
Yeah.
is.
oh,
He's
and thing
definitely-
to at his age to compete and be still top 5 players in the league, top 3
Yeah.
maybe, Dano even.
Oh, I'd have him in the top 3 for sure.
Do you have him over Jordan?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, and Dano wouldn't have seen as much of Jordan
Yeah,
as
I
we did.
definitely didn't see as much of Jordan. I've watched as much tape as I possibly
It's
can.
hard to split because
It's very hard to split because
when
they,
you're
and they play
younger-
they got different styles as well
100%.
and stuff like that. Like LeBron, his greatness has come from leading for so long and taking average teams to places they shouldn't have been, and now towards the back end of his year modifying his game to like now he's leading the league in assists. He has 11 assists a game as a 35-year-old, and he's just the way he's doing it now compared to how he did it at the start of his career, where he was just overpowering people and cutting lanes and dunking on everyone. To now, he's still got that element of speed, athleticism, and he's got a bit more of a 3-point shot he's developed, and his ball playing is a whole lot better compared to Michael, who just used to was a
what
sorted
couldn't he
player
do?
who's just give me the ball here, I'll put it on the floor here, and I'll turn either way and make my shot. It's just
Yeah.
it's different, but I can't see.
There's a doco on ESPN
LeBron.
about when he played minor league baseball, Jordan, and just about the guys who played with him who were just average Joes. And they said the year, it was called something like A Year with Michael or something like that. Said all these pristine golf course they get on, everything that you get into, Michael would just get us in.
Yeah.
So
No, the most
Michael
it-
just
it's
it's
opened
common
every
knowledge
door.
that he's the most competitive cunt in the world.
Oh yeah, it is, and
Like he'd be pissed off if he loses a game like a golf. He'd be like pissed off for a week until he plays you
yeah,
again.
exactly. And it's just like imagine being that side, and everyone in the world knows Michael Jordan. He just came off three-peating with the Bulls
Yeah.
to when he quit and went to play minor league baseball.
Was that when his dad was murdered?
I
And that's
think
why he decided to chase a different dream.
there's been
Dad was kidnapped or something.
there's been plenty
murdered.
of blokes come out. There's a lot of what am I trying to say?
Conspiracies.
Conspiracies
Yeah,
about it. A lot
'cause
of people
apparently
think the
at,
NBA might have pushed him out because he was starting to put a bad image on the game. 'cause
He's
he
a
locked up-
ridiculous gambler.
Yeah, it
He
was
makes
gambling
Slaney and
problems,
Uzi look
and he
like
was
they're
coming
all
up.
right.
Well, you know, so with the Jordan sneakers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how
So
great.
he got fined the first time he wore them. And then Nike's like, fucking, we'll pay your fine, bro. And then
Yeah.
so with the first time he wore them out onto the court, he got fined because you had to wear what
Yeah,
the sneakers that the league provided.
And he had a certain set
Yeah,
of
so
guidelines,
he wore his Jordan ones out there.
It happens in all major sports
Yeah.
over there. If you wear different socks, something like that, you can get fined by leagues and
Yeah.
things like that. And like I remember,
But look at that. That's the biggest marketing move
Yeah.
that like any
Oh.
sportsman's ever done. And that
He
legacy of
was
Jordans is going to go
Yeah,
forever.
It's crazy.
he was their messiah. He was their showpiece. When you thought of Nike, you thought of Michael Jordan. He was the biggest star on the planet in his time. Things like that. You know, the marketing tool, and that's one thing with them. They don't
Don't usually miss, eh? Like
Yeah.
they just don't. Like as soon as someone starts showing potential, Kobe did it. Kobe bang,
Yeah.
get him in. We'll give him his own shoe,
And-
and we'll sort him out. LeBron, KD, all these. They don't usually miss. Like Steph Curry got pulled by Under Armour early, but
Yeah.
most of the giant names, the big
Nike jumped on board with
megastars-
Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah, Ronaldo
and all
Like,
those sort of guys.
anyone
And
massive. Just
those
pinch it straight
big
away.
sporting mobs, they know how to market things. You know what I mean? They'll market. They have great marketing potential, and they have great marketing people, and they tap into things. I was saying this. I was on Any Given Monday podcast the other night.
No, that's our podcast, bro.
I was on a Rugby League event. I forgot which one I was on.
You're just
Any-
on heaps
Well, you
of
do so many
podcasts.
podcasts.
I listen to 1,000 too.
Yeah. You cheating on me, Roddy?
And Rugby League.
I'll nail you to a cross.
Rugby
yeah.
League in America, and I spoke about. I think the NRL, that's a serious area that they have to look into, is the marketing side of it. You can't do exactly everything like they do in the US because they have limitless pockets.
Yeah.
But they know how to tap into things. They know how to market their brand. They're always looking to produce things like the NBA and the NFL. They take games to London, things like that. They're always looking for new markets, and they're always looking for ways to tap in and bring more people into the game. And and we're starting to do that with the women's footy.
Yeah.
I reckon that's excellent.
I think
Some
a
people
way
hate
to,
it.
I
I
think
don't.
a simple way the NBA do it compared to the NRL, like obviously in the NBA you get to pick your own number and whatever, like stuff like that.
Yep.
Which we can't have in the NRL because we've got.
That's been discussed on
bonafide positions.
other shows I've listened
But-
to.
Do they in UK? Do they pick their own number, or do they just get given anything?
Or in the Premier League or in the Super League.
Super League.
You can pick your number.
Okay.
And that, if someone already doesn't have it, same as any other sport, if you roll
Yeah.
into a club, you can say, like Super League in Australia, one of the good things they did a lot of things I didn't like, but if you're Christian Freed wearing jersey 32, you go and buy that 32. Or
Yeah.
like in the
That's
Premier
what-
League.
That's
And
what
in
I
the
was
league.
sort of hinting at. Like the NBA have player names on the jerseys and stuff like that, where the NRL don't. Like something simple.
promote your own personal
Promote your own brand, like
yeah.
something as simple as putting a jersey
Yeah.
name on the back. Like a bloke like Josh Adokar is an electric sort of flyer. He likes to interact with the crowds a bit. Imagine
If
jersey
he-
sales going up if they had Adokar on the
Imagine
back.
if you
or-
could just have a fucking fox on the back.
yeah,
Yeah, him design the shirt.
That'd be sick.
Him just design the shirt on the front. It's him like about to score a try, and with Fox on the back.
We
like those NBA.
we just let them design their own
yeah.
personal
Everyone just
jerseys.
have their own kit.
And people do that. And in the US, they do that. Like, spoke Brian Bosworth back in the 80s came in. He was a gun college player. He came in the FL. He was a big name. So they were playing Denver. He got drafted by Seattle. So he bags out John Elway. So all of a sudden, they started selling these Boo the Boz shirts. He's the guy that got them made up. So he went out.
Yeah.
He went on the interview and purposely bagged John Elway. I'm gonna sack Elway 3 times. I'm gonna be in his face all day. So the Denver fans got filthy at this. He's the one marketing the shirts that all these people bought. You're the making money from him out there promoting himself. I think we have to look at ways to do this. And a lot of these questions, what's going on, things about safeguarding players and the league, this has to be an eye opener, because this might only happen twice in a generation, but this is once. It could possibly happen again in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. The people of the future.
50 years, you'll be dead as fuck,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I'll outlive you, Royd boy. Don't worry, my heart won't be ticking. When all our bones are dust, when they look back and go,
Not just
this
yours.
is a prerequisite. This
I'll
hasn't
be
happened.
resurrected, bro. Don't worry about me.
This hasn't
I'm gonna
happened.
climb off my cross and I'll be sorted.
Yeah, well, if he gives you some of that stuff that make him shredded, it'll resurrect you pretty quick, lad.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden they go, we haven't seen a crisis like this since World War II. Well, we haven't seen a crisis like this since 2020.
Are you saying crosses or crisis?
Crisis.
Crisis.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen a situation like this in that time. You've got to make sure it can't happen again.
Yeah.
Things like that, because rugby league survived through wars and things like that.
Yeah.
They should be able to survive this. Personal tragedies. Rugby league still kicked on when parts of the country were getting bombed in Darwin and that, and there were still games being played in New South Wales and Queensland.
Yeah. The what they need to do also is, like, in the future, imagine if in the off season they filmed a full season and we didn't know about it. So in case this happens again, they can just drop that season,
Drop it.
and they're wearing like futuristic jerseys and shit. They might be in like spacesuits, or like they're all wearing silver fucking.
Why the fuck are you not on the board at the NRL somewhere?
Bro, you gotta.
You really
you
got to
petition.
calm down on the Bob Hope, okay? So
Yeah,
on
you
those
won't
Hong
listen to this
Kong.
things free.
on-
He's been here smoking.
you know,
weed,
Right,
bro.
wait, I took some fucking CBD/THC oil 2 nights ago, right? And I'm watching Jumanji, the first one of The
Yes, I
Rock
did.
and Kevin
Oh,
Hart,
right.
like the new one, the first one of the new ones.
Game, like the video game one.
Yeah, and so it says like one drops 10 milligrams. So I know 5 milligram kicks me pretty hard because I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to fucking
Hard drugs.
just fucking THC. And I keep pausing on my missus and I'm like, what do you think he meant by that sentence? And I'm like looking into it so deep, right? And she's like, can you shut the fuck up and stop overthinking everything? And then we went from Jumanji to the Ozarks. And now I finished that last episode of the Ozarks, which blew my brains out. But I kept pausing it because I couldn't differentiate that. I'm not even going to try to say that word again because I fucked it up bad. That the Ozarks, they weren't in Jumanji. I was like, but are they in this game? And she's like, it's not Jumanji anymore, you dickhead. It's Ozarks. And I was like, fuck, I got to go to bed. I'm Friday.
Well,
fuck me.
That's deep. I like it.
Yeah. But have you guys finished Ozarks season 3?
No, I haven't finished it
Oh,
yet.
no.
I just started watching
God,
it.
it's so good, man.
I haven't started.
Yeah, just don't watch it. We'll fucking after doing a couple drops.
All right, so the game we reviewed on the weekend was round 23, 2003. Was the Cowboys played the Raiders in Canberra.
Yep.
Canberra were in the top 8 at the time, and the Cows couldn't make the final, so they were kind of middle of the pack.
Canberra were shooting for a minor premiership.
Yeah, they were
right
top
up there.
4 actually.
Yeah.
So they were pushing hard. Great battle. Some of the standouts. The Cows ended up getting up in the end they won by
34-28.
Yeah, 34-28 in the end when they had a handy lead and the Raiders came back at them. Boys, what a couple of things stood out for you in the game? Mine was
The KO didn't edit it down to 20 minutes. That's what stood out for me.
you should have taken some more of your stuff. It would have felt like 220.
No, because I would have thought they were in Jumanji and I wouldn't know what the fuck was going on.
Why is that guy from Jumanji tackling Paul Wrighty? Why?
You would have to put fucking metal, fucking steel fucking stakes through my hands and just had to do that shit.
Bowen's X Factor at the back was...
How fucking vast is he?
Bowen, man. I was talking to Dan before you got here, and where he just jumped out a hooker. Yeah.
Just jumped out a hooker and was just gone. I don't know how... Adam Mogg, mate, does a screamer of a tackle.
Would you say I think he's the fastest. Bowen's the fastest.
Watching that...
Have you ever heard that?
No, the quickest, sorry.
Fair enough. But watching that dart he did, I was like, fuck me, no one's ever going to touch
Have you ever heard the expression football fast? Like blokes that don't look fast when you're doing sprint training or look okay, but when they get into games, they're lightning fast.
Yeah. I sort of think blokes like Damien Cook, they don't look real fast when they're out in the speed.
And they might not win it.
You know he's fucking quick as fuck.
He's the scariest player in the world, I think.
Touching him. Oh, it's ridiculous. I've wrote a couple of names down. I thought Alan Tongue, fuck me dead, goes hard up the middle.
And this was a young version of Alan Tongue.
Yeah, just into it, just going hard up the middle the whole time.
You reckon Alan Tongue always had pressure to be really good at going down on chicks?
He would have had to.
Might have got you a few starts, but you got to get in the door.
But he's a ranger, so it makes it hard.
Be a good-looking ranger, though.
Yeah, but...
And Jack City. How much drug testing were they doing in the early 2000s? Not much.
Well, it was a thing.
Just swap the tongue out and just like,
There was Matty Elliott as coach.
Yeah,
coach you in the US.
Yeah, so in that game, I was telling Dano that I had two coaches out that game. I had Adam Mogg and Elliott, and Elliott just on the sideline, just looking stressed out the whole time.
That was at kickoff when it was 0-0.
It would have been.
You had 3 actually. You didn't think Adam Mogg playing fullback.
No, that's what I said.
Mogg, Rutcherson on the bench.
Oh yeah,
Rutcho come off the bench.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
3.
So three coaches in that game: Rutcho, Mogg, and Elliott. Fucking hell.
Fuck, get stuck in.
Rutcho.
I also wrote down here how good Ruben Wiki goes, and especially considering that in the 78th minute, Ty Williams takes and it picks up a wayward ball and runs 80, and leading the chase was Ruben Wiki, just 78 minutes in, the back rower, just never giving up. I was fuck me.
And let's talk about this game more like some of our listeners only watched about 10 to 15 minutes of it just to give them a bit more insight, yeah?
Is that because
you only watched 10 to 15 minutes of it, eh, big guy?
No, because I put it on. I was gonna watch it fresh before you guys got here. And I set it. I set everything up, and then I was like 50 fucking minutes, so I had to skip through a bit to get because I set everything up. Then it was like 7:30, and I was like, "Fuck, all right, let's go." Yeah. Sorry, right, man. Wait, but what made you think about this game anyway?
I was going to watch it the other day, and I was just looking for it And then
Because I thought it was way better than your last week's choice.
the prelim.
Yeah.
And I thought we got
It was a good game. It was
we got to mix a
cracking
few up,
game.
and it was just a surprise. So I started watching it, and then it looked all right, and then I forgot I turned it off, and then when we decided to do it, I watched the whole thing,
But-
and I didn't realise they won.
Yeah.
But I thought they would have just lost because normally them classic games is a pretty tight little affair.
Yeah. But Moggy had a blinder. I
He's,
thought.
mate,
the
the way he
first-
carries the football, he was so strong.
Yeah. And remember, like me and Daniel were talking about before again, that when he jumped into hooker, it was like, and then his passing game was sweet as too.
And he's a big unit, eh?
Yeah.
He's built like a second rower.
Yeah, you got a dick on him as
At
well.
the start,
That's a spirit.
at the start of the game,
Cockologist, that's
Yeah.
a spirit.
after watching the first 10 minutes, I was like, "Fuck, poor Moggy's been thrown on the cross here." Just
Couple of kicks.
being put at fullback with Clinton Tchaikovsky out. I
Yeah.
was like, "A poor bastard." And then straight
Crown
after
of
that,
Thorns.
bang, just fucking turned it on. Was in everything. Saved 2 tries.
A comeback.
Was in two of Canberra's. It was fucking incredible. I was like, "Fuck, Moggy's killing it."
Yeah.
The Raiders forwards too were just were better the whole first half, dominated, and then in the second half, the Cowboys forwards sort of muscled up, and the Cowboys started making inroads through the middle. The both back rowers made line breaks, and they're
Yeah.
just going hard. I was like,
With that, when Miles scored,
Call him.
and it was a tip on to it was a tip on to Campion who throws the
Yes.
dummy,
throws a
Yeah, yeah.
dummy,
and then just turned inside. Everyone on the push. Little things like that.
that was a crazy
It gets
play.
you out of. It gets you away from the congestion, especially if they're bashing you in the middle.
Yeah.
Get on an edge. Use the football a bit.
Give him a call right, man. Just see what he thought about the game. See if he picks up.
I'll see if I can get hold of him.
Yeah. Get him on the blower.
All right.
Just say we want 1 minute of his time to see how he
And then
thought.
after you've done that, Freddie's going to call all 34 of his coaches the outcome of that game.
And tell him what I think about him.
Yeah, you're going to call Moggy and tell him how good his cork is. That's
All right, Milesy. Pick up, you freak. He's probably trying to put his kids to sleep or some shit. He's just like, hang up.
No.
So, Milesy's, Wrighty's great friend Milesy just screened him.
Yeah, he didn't. Rang out.
Been
that's
brushed.
it.
Been brushed.
Yeah, he wasn't there to give his feedback on the game.
That's right. After fucking isolation, we'll get him on here.
Yeah,
He just lives
over-
around the corner, doesn't he?
No, he lives over near Graceville.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Graceville lives up the road from Graceville. His kids play for Graceville.
But yeah, what other notes about that game?
The refereeing, how about Shane Hayne just putting the whistle in his
Oh.
mouth and not taking it out?
Shane Hayne has some
Like,
odd
what she
calls.
said.
Fuck me dead.
They did
a couple
referee
of
the game.
times. A tackle gets made before the bloke's even actually stopped moving. He's already blown a penalty saying no effort to get off him. It was, get off him. The bloke wasn't even on the ground yet. It's like there was 20 penalties in the first half, 10 apiece. I'm thinking, fuck me.
It was like
Just everyone's
it's like a
getting
young
blown.
Do you
referee
think,
trying to
though,
impress.
with Shane Hayne, you reckon for referees, he's killing it with the ladies in his prime?
Oh, he was a fit, good-looking bloke.
Oh, that's what.
Shane
That's.
Hayne.
I was watching it. I was
And
watching the
his
game, and I was like,
confidence was
"Fuck!"
pretty
he's-
good, 'cause
yeah.
when blokes come up to talk, he'd just say go. Just he's confident as everything he did. So I imagine he might have been a bit of a stud, you know.
I remember when we had one of our things over in Jacksonville, and we were playing. It was the America's Cup, whatever. So it was Canada, Jamaica,
Oh, yep.
and there was this receptionist at the hotel that we were all staying in, and everyone was frothing over her. She was like 18 or something, and they're all trying to get.
You're only saying 18 to cover it. Actually.
Well, over in America, she was 21,
Yeah.
and but anyway, and then it ended up one of the referees that was over there to ref all our games ended up fucking bagging her, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
good.
me, that's got to be the
I know.
rarest.
It
story
cut
I've
for the
ever
boys that
heard.
were trying to get,
They'd
like
be
hit on it.
filthy.
They were. It was like they stab in the heart,
It would have
man.
been. Fuck me, I could never. Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be filthy. They'd be filthy about that.
Did you tell her she obviously has no idea what she's looking at?
Yeah. Oh, she wouldn't have understand what he did.
I also wrote down here the running the ball on last play and the low percentage last play options from both sides a couple of times. The Raiders more so, but both sides had a couple of opportunities to bash it down into corners and just start their sets over down there and start running the ball and making inroads. And the Canberra scored a try on last tackle running the ball, and the Cowboys also had 2 or 3 great plays on last from just fucking shaping to play the kick and then playing some footy on an edge.
It was funny. Some of those tries look pretty soft just compared to how strong the D was at times. It was like sides going to sleep. Like you're saying on those last tackle plays, it's like everyone's just thinking they're going to kick, and not move it, getting caught out in some of those grubbers.
And even the blokes that were shooting to put kick pressure on, they had no intentions of taking the kicker. They were just running up to put their hands up. And you could see it a few times. That Canberra half...
Monahan.
No, the other one.
McClendon.
No, he was on.
McClendon. Yeah, he
come off the bench.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But he
I swear McClendon always wore headgear. Sorry to cut you off. Which one of them always wore the headgear?
Both of them did.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But they weren't in this game.
No, he came off the bench, and Croker started at 5'8", and I think he moved back into the pack.
Yeah,
he did,
yeah. Sorry, continue, Dan.
Yeah, so McClendon would come out, and he'd shaped a kick, and the Cowboys, there was the 1 or 2 Cowboys blokes shoot out, obviously, to put kick pressure on, but they didn't have any intentions of actually taking the kick out.
Joel Monahan's
so he'd
first
just
try.
So he'd just put a big shake on, go straight through, and then he threw that cut out to the edge. Monahan gets it back inside of McClendon, back inside of Monahan.
It looked a bit too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and it was just simple passing, draw and pass. And when Monahan got it, shaped it up, draw and pass, and then McClendon got it, shaped it up. Monahan does a wrap around him, draw and pass on Matty Bowen, and it's try time.
Yeah.
Aaron Payne's try when he backed up and he ran about 50.
Yeah, that was crazy.
A couple of offloads in there.
To get hit old Bowen on the edge, and then he gets it back inside to Payne. It was
just opened up, and
he
hit
it at speed and just fucking pinned
one.
his
Yeah, there was one. Mog missed him. Was Mog coming in cover and he missed him?
Yeah.
And then there was no other chases, which was a surprise. Which I'm sure Matty Elliott coached you on the US side for quite a few games.
Yeah. Well, he coached me for that tour. Like we went against Samoa, so we were there for 2 weeks, and ended up playing Samoa.
What were his non-negotiables that he used to push?
He was. I was saying this to Dana before also, but he was the first. Like Elliott's style of coaching is he didn't worry about the like behavioural side of us. He's like, you men, you know what's right and wrong. And so if you think you're doing the right thing, you are. If you think you're doing the wrong thing, you are. That's it. All right. So I'm here to coach as players. So he was very, for me, I found him a very good, like people coach,
Yep.
you know, like, so as a person, he was a very good coach like that. And I got a few days with him before anyone else came into camp, and he's an absolute ledge. But he just broke it down, gave us a basic game plan, but expected that basic game plan to be like, all right, I've given you so basic, just execute.
Who else did you have in the side with you then? Any big names then?
In that side when we played, because we played the Samoa residents, you know, like, yeah. So who else came over? There was probably 70% of that 2013 World Cup side in it.
Okay.
So we just didn't have Offerdale over there, but we had Cantoni, we had
Danny Howard.
Yeah, we had my boy, the half. I totally gone blank on his name. But was over in New York, but he played Redcliffe. Priestley. We had Dave Miranda. We had all of them. You know, so we had a pretty solid side.
Blokes had played a lot of second tier footy.
Yeah, like Queensland Cup, New South Wales Cup. Yeah,
level under the NRL.
So yeah, and they'll think because I think they thought we were going to get wiped by Samoa. I was like, no, we're going to beat these guys.
Yeah, if you play smart with those blokes on board.
Tui.
Oh yeah.
Tui got sent off for doing something stupid, I think, in like the
first
10 minutes.
You remember when that Nines tournament you played in at Mitchie? Tui got sent in the quarterfinal. He's lost.
Yeah,
just trying to start a blow.
Oh, he's a nut, mate. Like he just cracks when he. Yeah.
So. Yeah, Elliott was pretty much, he'd adapted to a different philosophy from what he would have week to week in the NRL setup. So he just sort of...
Oh, yeah. He just saw what he was working with. Yeah.
Yeah, adapted to the situation, which makes
so like me at fullback, he goes, no, you're not playing fullback, you're playing sweeper. So I was 5-10 metres behind the ruck the whole game, and then I'd get back there on fifth and shit.
So with that, did the wingers, were they dropping deeper...
Nah,
You?
but that's that we had inexperienced wingers. That's why he did it. So
or they could have pushed in and swept in behind you.
Yeah, so he's
they-
like, yeah, so
if
he's
they
like,
put one over you.
he's like, like in touch, you play sweeper. Like he's like, you're gonna be sweeping around the
Throwing
ruck,
behind the back of
and
the
then
ruck.
jump back.
It's a good way. Good way. If you
But
got-
he also created the best fucking Mad Monday that I've ever done. Hey, like so we all like it was Hawaiian shirt themed, and then as soon
Didn't
as
you play in Hawaii?
pardon,
Did you play in Hawaii?
yeah.
So it was easy to get the shirts.
Yeah, or it's just they're just called shirts over there.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
called Hawaiian shirts. They're just called shirts.
Sweet.
But as soon as we got to the bar with him, he'd rip the sleeves off, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's what you do." And then someone that come like in a nice shirt that didn't get the Hawaiian shirt, and we just
Rookie
fucking
mistake,
cut it off.
champion, rookie.
It was the best. At Duke's, I don't know if he's been to Waikiki or.
No, I've heard.
Yeah, but
Offerdale talk about it.
Duke's, man, it's fucking sweet. We had the best Mad Monday. Like, well, I think it was on a Sunday, but it was one
We
of
get
the
So it
yeah,
can't be
best.
hard. I don't think it could be hard to have a bad time when you're in fucking.
Yeah, no.
Hawaii.
How popular
Asshole.
was the bar?
That was the bar that everyone went to. It was like we like with Tiki's is the one that my boy Randy owns. So Randy owns Tiki's, which is awesome. But it was so we'd split our time between Tiki's and Duke's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good stuff.
yeah,
And the thing is, like, guys like Matt Elliott, you forget that he's been at a few clubs and he's taken teams to semi-finals. Like, he's been at the Warriors, he's been at the Raiders, he's been at Penrith. Like, the Raiders and Penrith, they made the finals. So he's done some good things and he knows how to coach. It's just, sometimes it's hard with the group you've got. It's all about your players buying in. And players have a bit too much power. They can just go and complain.
but
There were stories about, with Graham Murray, when Graham Murray was at the Roosters, that certain higher players there led the call to get rid of him, how they got rid of him early and Rick Stewart came in. And that was the thing that he had a fine system in. So, so it was $50 for people throwing, shit turnovers, things like that. Blokes got rewarded. I think it was based on the system Wayne Bennett had at the Broncos in the beginning. And you'd get bonuses for doing things like effort upon efforts, like doing 3 tackles in a row from marker, kick pressure, things like this, little 1% things you get to. So, of course, blokes who touch the football a bit, and like at the Roosters in those days, guys like Fletch, Fittler, etc., those guys aren't going to like getting fined. You know what I mean? Like, and them being ball playmakers, they're touching the footy more than anybody else. Yeah. So, like, all of a sudden, and in those days, you didn't have a ball playing fullback so much in the early 2000s as you did in the later years. Yeah. And it came in as sort of like a surprise attack. Now it's common knowledge. Like with the Cowboys in that 03, with Dave Miles at 5'8", he didn't really have to play a super lot of ball playing. He was a runner and a passer, not a ball player trying to construct things like shape and that.
That was like was like his pin to wood, wasn't it? Like that was his.
Yeah, because he was kind of like like maybe like a third centre even. You know what I mean? Like that, things like that. Didn't have to do a lot of kicking because you had Bowen. And you had Chris Shepherd running they were doing a lot of ball playing, creating things. You had that
Miles just on that right edge. You just stand in plenty of tackles, and if a bloke come, just cross them off with a big palm, and just that was it, eh?
And you had Hannay
just palm him, mate.
You had Hannay and Bowman, who was solid on the very solid centres.
But I think, like, going back to Matty Elliott, just to finish that off, like, Matty Elliott cared about the person, not the player. That's where I think there's a big difference in coaches, where you could tell that he was like, he worried about the person, and then the player was secondary. And that's why I thought, man, this guy's a ledge.
You still have, and you're still in contact with him.
Yeah, he'll message me when he comes up to Brisbane. He tells me, and we meet up and stuff, and that's just from that 1 week in fucking Hawaii, man. He's one of the funniest motherfuckers ever.
I know you can't be, and they've told us this at different coaching seminars, you can't have a personal relationship with everybody, but I try to. Yeah. Because there's no point. Blokes aren't going to give their all for you if they don't think you're giving everything for them. It's just the way it is.
I kind of picture it as like, I want my funeral to be loaded of people. So I'm trying to get as many people at my funeral as I
So you're a
can.
sucker.
Yeah, that's it. And I think dying early is a good one too.
Because all your friends will still be alive. You don't have to.
You do remember you have a wife and daughter, so they won't want you to die early?
But I'll get my life insurance up.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
And then,
Well,
and
me
then they'll
and
be
Dano,
paying.
if
they'll
you
be
die
paying
before
for it.
us, we'll wear the Hawaiian shirts and cut the sleeves off.
What did you
okay?
think?
Yeah.
What did you think about?
Good call, Riley. Yeah.
Yeah,
I reckon
and I want
first
Elliot running the show.
Yeah.
All right.
First drink back up.
And I wanted to do-
isolation. Let's head
I'll
to
just
the
be there in my
Yeah.
cut sleeves Hawaiian shirt
Alright.
trying to beat Buck's
And I
skull
wanted a
and just
Dukes.
into it.
Waikiki, and I just want you to send my ashes out on a surfboard because I'm a huge surfer.
I've always
Oh,
thought that about
sure
you.
you are.
Yeah, I've always.
Sending a
Yeah, we-
surfboard shaped like a cock straight out there.
We often call
No,
you.
shaped like a cross, just fucking heading out there, bro.
We often call you the
You'll
big
be
kahuna
crucified
because of
properly,
your.
you know?
We often call you the big kahuna because you're surfing exploits in the
Yeah.
past.
And because of my penis.
If you want to say that, no, man. Like,
Wait, but what did you think about their wrestling talk on Bloke in a Bar?
Yeah, I was
interesting. Yeah, I thought that was good. Bloke in a bar for people who may not have heard. Dean Kemp was talking. Who was the individual he was talking to, Dana?
I don't know who you asked
I don't
about
know.
him.
I asked, and he thought I was talking about him. But he was talking to a guy, and he said part of the fatigue factor with the wrestling, I know it would speed up the product. See, with my idea of trying to spread the brand throughout the world, we want to be getting highlights packages. So with social media, people are watching us and they know who you are. Like Odell Beckham Jr. And you see Odell Beckham Jr. take these ridiculous one-handed grabs and things like that. The NFL and NBA, they do that very well. And same with EPL, you know, because you're seeing highlights of games where someone's setting up the goal scorer.
Is this going to
or
circle
something.
back to wrestling?
No, yeah, it is. It's
Okay,
coming
sweet.
back.
Yeah.
Where this like where when we're wrestling and slowing it down, it'd open a game up more. People would be getting more tired, in my opinion, because the ball movement. They had the '89 grand final the other day, and they were shifting the footy and shit like that around. There's heaps of offloads and things like that. Of course, you're not letting guys just jump straight back up, but Kemp made a great point when he said the average person who's watching it, they're not watching this to see wrestling. They just see, why is it taking this guy 10 seconds to play the football? And that was the best call ever. People like things like that. So the average bloke.
But the guy playing the football should get better at fucking playing the football.
Yeah.
See, I hate to disagree because I love pretty much all the shit that can't be said.
Oh yeah,
But
he's a ledge man,
yeah, but that
but
was just
you've got a winger and some random guy talking about wrestling.
I'm thinking more about the fact that you can't just, like, if you're looking at him saying, why is it taking that dude so long to get up when he's got three blokes on top of him, then what the fuck are you looking at?
Well,
Use your brain. Like, he's obviously not going to be able to spring back to his feet when old mate's on top of him.
Yeah, but you hit low and hard like a Gilmeister or a Dallas
You don't
Johnson.
get rewarded for it.
Not at all, mate. That's what I mean. About you're rewarded for slowing it down.
Yeah,
and this
well,
is the thing.
you're
We
still
have
not
to find a medium,
But
and
how
it
do you-
comes to the refereeing.
But yeah, exactly. But there's still not going to be a reward. If you take the wrestling away, there's still no reward for a leg tackle because you still got to roll away straight away.
But it comes to the refereeing where you don't have to release as quick if you chop him like in a spot and you end up on top. Like not now, if you're just coming third man in, you can lock the arm. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're strong, you've been taught to wrestle properly and lock it up, slow it down. And that's good. We have to find the medium. You can't brush wrestling altogether or we'd have some glorified 44-40 games like in college football in the States.
But it's like and Cammy made a good point. He's like, we don't want to see fucking like leg locks, arm bars, like talking about jiu-jitsu style of it. But that you sometimes see like initiations of those movements
And
in some wrestling.
I don't want to go on about
but
things,
like if you're gonna wrestle, just learn that if you're gonna get in that situation, you got to get your hips away, get up on your all fours and play the
For
ball.
me, it's so good because it, like, if you don't want to be put on your back and held down for 5 seconds, don't be dominated. And if you and if you're good enough to get up and under the ball, get hooks under, roll the bloke onto his back and dominate him, why should you not be rewarded? That's my question. Like, why we say you have to be rewarded for a leg tackle. When a leg tackle, you come in, bang, chop legs, he's down. When you get into a tackle, you're getting nice and close, you work to get your arms under, you work extra hard to roll him on his back. Why do you not get
That's right.
rewarded
It's a
for that.
fucking skill and
Okay.
a process.
I
It should
think
be
it's-
rewarded.
Should you be rewarded for putting your elbow into bloke's Achilles? Should you be rewarded
that's
for
not
doing
wrestling.
holding?
Yeah, no, but that's
it
what he.
is,
That,
but
I agree on
that's
him on that.
grubbery. That's
yeah,
grubbery.
yeah.
That's not
But that's
wrestling.
part of it. And it's no offence to the clubs that are good wrestlers, but you get coached to do this because it's how you win the ground. I don't think it like when clubs were using like grapple tackles and that, and they had to outlaw that.
That's
There
what,
are so
that's what we
many
mean. We've got to
techniques.
change the way we talk about it. We can't just say
And-
wrestling, because wrestling is wrestling's my favourite part of the game probably. But when you talk about stuff like that, that's grubbery. That's shit like working Achilles over, like holding someone's head in an awkward spot or arming someone. That's different to wrestling. Wrestling is working a bloke to a point where you can roll him onto his back and pin him
But
down.
getting hit in a good ball and all tackle and just rolled, I don't think of that like a wrestle. That's just a dominant tackle to me. But we also have to educate officials into what's grubbery and what's not. Some blokes are
Exactly.
just good wrestlers. So if you go and get your arm lock in the ball
Yeah.
and you can just spin me on me back and hold me there, you've just been too good in the contact and you deserve to get a reward for that. Where in these certain suppression holds and where blokes getting their heads ripped off and shit like that, we can't be having that. But there are things too, like little things too. Like remember when a couple of seasons ago, the Storm used to employ this way where like the 2 or 3 defender out wide and the blind used to jump up quick, or on the open, so that way you wouldn't go on it. You wouldn't go on a 3-pass shift, and they used to get away with it.
You'd be
while they
crucified if
changed
you
it.
did, yeah?
Yeah, because and they'd always get you. But then they worked that out that was getting an early jump and that was preventing that. And they'd say, and you know, the blokes would say, "Sir, it's 20 metres away. How's this affecting the play of the ball?" But it is because you don't go there. But good sides that are well coached, they adapt the situation. So all right, we can't do that no more.
They
All right.
resurrect it, you know?
Yeah, all right, we can't do that no more. We'll vary that and we'll do something else. And these sort of things, like with your, how many times you getting in the Easter Day plugs here, mate?
What do you mean?
Resurrection and stuff like that. Like, you know,
Oh, no, it's just my vocab at the moment.
it's nice, mate. It's nice.
Out of a
It's
few
good to-
things in the old bloke.
It's good to see you've experienced.
He's a man of Jesus.
Where'd you get these shoes from, bro?
Oh,
They're
they were
sick.
cheapy, man.
Yeah.
I got them over Indro. Don't go to Indro much. I know about $10.
They're
But how
fresh
good is
deadly.
that?
Indro
Wrighty.
be a fucking ghost town at the
Oh,
moment.
mate, the whole world is just driving here. Like,
Tell you what, Roddy's DMs won't be a ghost town with those shoes on. They're fresh deadlies, brother.
and yeah, they're all multi-purpose jobs where, oh, we're going to the Audley. Let's
So
go
is
to the
the mi-
Audley.
is the
Oh,
missus-
we're going out on it.
Is the missus back now?
She's stuck at Bribey.
Ah.
Can't cross the bridge. I said I'd leave early. She went to pick Zara up. She stayed a couple of days. Zara's been there a week.
Well,
with
because
her
of
friend.
quarantine, she's stuck.
They're
shut
waiting.
down
They're
the
waiting.
island.
They're waiting at the bridge to sting you 1,000 if they catch
Yeah.
you out driving tonight.
Jesus.
So things like that, like
Jesus
they're
on the
not
cross.
they're not mucking around, man. Like
No.
they'd got 300 people by Good Friday.
Yeah, well, Good Friday morning,
Yeah.
they had anyone on the highway going to either coast
Yeah.
with anyone towing a caravan or a boat was just pulled over. Everyone in the car got fined. They sent them back home.
It's like moving boulders in front of caves, you know? Heckers.
That's the spirit.
Oi, should we do our combine? Let's fucking
Yeah, can we get
beast
it done
this
as
shit,
well?
all right? So we got 100 set up over there. What I'm going to do,
100.
right? So we're going to film it on this camera and then I'll edit it in. Dano, and you are going to get our combine source so Jimmy Hunt comes on next week and just beasts us all.
Mate, he would be able to bench press the equivalent.
Have you
of
got
all three of
100 in you?
them. I don't think so, no.
We'll see.
Okay.
But so the record is 50? Is that 50, 51, okay?
Yeah,
51 reps of 100
All right,
kilos.
so we only have to do
Is that
Is that that
52.
big giant Julius fella?
Yeah, and he never
Justin Ernest.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
that
and there's
fella.
a-
The big
Yeah.
giant. He weighs
Yeah.
like 210 kilos.
All right, so I'll take Dano over there. I need you to stay here, commentate, and I'll put it up on the and I'll film from this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're going
All right, mate.
first, surely.
Okay, I'll go first, and then Dana, you got to rep it out, and then we'll swap with
Rep it
Wrighty.
out, yeah, right.
I'll
Rep-
spot you though, right?
Rep out 100
Yeah, nice.
kilos.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Sweet, let's get it done.
You keep talking, bro.
Yeah.
Tell them about your.
All right, for the boys here, 102 kilos. Wow, fair effort, but As we touched on the NFL before, their combine. This is one of the prerequisites they do just to measure blokes' strength because they're very about the numbers in American sport.
Stop warming up, bro.
Dano's warming up right now. Let's get over there and see if we can get this done. All right, how you going there, Freeds?
Yeah, I'm just chill.
I don't know how those blokes in the combine. You see all these like college kids bench pressing 25 reps of 100 kilos.
Yeah, we're not as weight oriented as those boys, are we?
Right. It's because they go to colleges with multi-million-dollar gyms.
Here we go.
Come on, Freddie. All right, big guy.
All right, Christian Freed stepping up.
52.
Yeah, 52.
52.
All right, let's do this.
Tear it back for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, can you lift me up?
Yeah. Ready?
Okay, so ready? 3, 2, 1. Fuck, that's heavy.
That is heavy.
Okay.
Nice. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4,
How many to go?
Only 40.
48.
Okay.
I'll give you 5 for that one. 5. That's a bloody good effort.
Just missed.
Bloody
mate.
good effort.
Only just. You almost had that record.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I got one in me at the moment.
Yeah, I won't have one in me.
Got this.
Let's do it.
Oh man. And Wrighty, what do you want to do yours next week with Jimmy or
Yeah,
tonight?
I did some weights today, so I
We'll do
don't
it
know
with
one.
Jimmy next week. Okay. You get ready and I'll count you on.
Here we go, Dano.
Dano,
If you get one, you've
about
done.
to smash the record.
I might shit my pants.
If you get one, you've done well, boys.
Your bar.
He's got it up. Good dig, Dano. Good dig. Go dig. Go dig. Yep. One, nice. He's got one, which is an impressive effort. I'm pretty proud.
That'll do for now.
No, that's good. Good effort, boys. Good effort. We've got the big dog coming on next week.
Just the one.
Some call him the White Marty Tapau.
I shouldn't have had those fucking 5 beers on it, I reckon.
They'll
Definitely
get you
didn't help.
normally.
Oh.
So any NFL teams need my contacts, it's kfreed4787@hotmail.com.
I'm just a
End of your
out.
rugby league career.
I'm here for all your blocking needs, you know.
Let's go to some questions. We've got some good questions.
All right, we'll
That
go.
was a good dig, Dano.
Oh, I can't breathe, but
That was good, bro.
That's a good dig, man. You can get one. It'll be one more than me.
it's a pity we didn't warm up. I just put 100 on the bar for eating and just show us straight in the deep end. Like you didn't tear something.
Yeah, you survived that and you're 5 down.
Genius, really.
Here we are. How are the questions going? Here, there's a few. Here we go. Pays, I remember seeing him
He's
put
in,
this one.
click on his replies there too, because he's got stipulations
Oh,
regarding our answers.
yeah. You can't pick one that your team played in.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, he's impressed with my 2 screens going at the
Yeah, I
moment.
don't know how
this
you're
is
doing it. It's
impressive,
pretty
man.
incredible.
Which
Anyway.
grand final of the 90s was your favourite? Also, which one of the 2000s? Of the 9, and you can't pick one, the team you support. So you boys go for the Bronx, I go for Manly.
Well, Manly
You can't
wasn't
pick
in
it.
it.
You can't pick that.
Were
Have
they?
you-
No, 09 they were.
what's that? 09.
Yeah.
We were there 08, 140-0. We were there in 07. We were there in 2011. We were there in 2013. The Broncos.
It was funny when I thought
dusty
that
old-
word in any.
Yeah.
Shut
that
up, can't you
dusty
make me-
old fucking cabinet there at the old Red Hill.
Yeah, but
isn't it?
everyone's got to admit, like Tate's like, I know the stipulations are I can't pick the Bronx, but the 06 grand
It's gotta
final
be-
was
Yeah,
fucking magic.
And that was an upset for them coming up. Melbourne best side all year, except on the day that counted. Brisbane knocked them off.
If I couldn't pick that one, I'd have to pick 2003.
Yeah, but Penrith won. Yeah, that was great.
coming up gold against a Soaring Roosters side, and
But
just
what-
that Scott Sattler tackle
In-
the whole day.
In the 90s, there were no really big upsets besides the Bulldogs beating Manly in 95 was an upset, but there were no other real upsets there. Oh, yeah, and well, the 2 Manly lost to the Bulldogs and to Newcastle. They were the favourites. Besides them, the team you expected to win did. Like
Yeah.
Brisbane, everyone they were in, they won. Theirs was 50-50 and they got the money. Brisbane in 06.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
the 90s, everyone they won, they were I'll expect them to win. probably the 91 Penrith when they won because it was the first one they ever won. I felt, and the Raiders had won the past two.
Yeah.
But in 2000s, like you said, Penrith win again was great.
Yeah.
Newcastle, when they beat Para had one of the greatest seasons on record. And then Johns dominated the game. Their forwards dominated theirs.
Fair enough.
That was a cracking Newcastle side, though.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You had
once
Tahu and McDougall on the wings. You had Gidley, Mark Hughes, Sean Rudder, who wasn't a big name but was a good solid player. You had Kennedy, Simpson in the forwards, Robbie Peden.
Are you drinking that last one, Dano?
You can if you want it.
No, you can have it. You keep.
No, you're right.
Oh.
And then
Did you try it, Roddy?
I've tried them before. I like them. Yeah, I'll have it if you want. I don't mind it. It's not bad drop.
You have it then, man.
I'll give you one thing. What was it? The Dean and Kemp the Beak. He knows how to market his brand. He's very smart.
Oh, he's killing it.
And all these things.
Dead set
And this is what, as we relate to other sports, I'd love to see rugby league players be able to market their brand a bit more. But I'm not sure. Like, certain sponsorships might conflict with certain things. I don't know what rules the NRL has to personal marketing compared to what other sports throughout the world has, but people know if people can buy your jersey and know who you are.
That's it. And if the NRL do have rules like Titan rules, they need to lax them a bit. Like, we have to be able to let these blokes have their own voice and pump their own tyres up to an extent where you want to go out and buy this set of Asics because fucking Jack Whiten wears them, or you want to go out and fucking, I want this hat because that's the one I've seen fucking Alex Glenn wearing down the shops or whatever. Like, it's this. There's sort of not any of that in rugby league. Like, no one goes out and says I'm wearing Ponga's boots. It's not really a thing. Like,
that's why I think the rules does so well.
Yeah.
That's because they're like, we can rep those fucking players.
Exactly.
How would it be if a player had certain brand of boots, you know what I mean, that he got teed up himself, like you're saying, and then all these young kids, especially a real excitement machine like Kalen Ponga, and kids get him, like, remember back in the day,
you do them like flaming red, like you do them
stand out
red
like
just
dog's balls, and you see those things like back in the day when everyone wanted to do Benji Marshall's step, or when I was a kid, anyone who threw a real cutout pass, they called it Wally ball. Wally Lewis pass. Yeah. Things like that people remember you for. Andrew Johns did it for, I remember, and a few kickers have done kicking tees, which, more
like
credit.
Johns,
doing the sharpshooter.
Halligan.
The sharpshooter was Michael DeVere.
Oh, it was, yeah.
That's right. That. See, that's smart. Things like that. If you use a special tee that you've made yourself, hacked away to normal tee or changed it a bit, and start getting that produced.
The easiest one surely has to be boots. Like, look, when Kobe bought his shoes out, everyone was rocking Kobe's. When I started playing basketball, everyone wanted to wear Kobe's. Imagine if someone like KP come out rocking Kalen Ponga signed fucking Nike boots.
How funny is it with Curry? He's like Under Armour. Everyone's like, nah, I'm not doing that except for Keenan Yeo. He's like, fuck yeah.
It's because Keenan Yeo, he loves a bandwagon. That fuck.
One of the other docos I've watched was on Beckham when he signed with the LA Galaxy.
Yeah,
and they brought him there, and he was on. It was ridiculous how much money they were giving him. It was like $50 million, and he was injured the first year, and it was criticised. Then when he got back on the paddock and started playing, they were winning, and all the things fell into place. Like, his missus had her fashion design stuff, which suited Los Angeles. He had his own shit he was plugging. All of a sudden, everyone knew about Major League Soccer in the US because they had David Beckham. Then those other guys like Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard, and that, they all started coming there because they thought, oh, this is pretty good. Living here is a good lifestyle. They made him the marquee, and he paid it back. And just the advertising, like, in a minor way, Sonny Bill with Wolfpack, when everyone was talking about him, all the publicity you're getting, that normally costs you money. But now everyone's talking about you and they take an interest. They start following you on social media, or people I know have bought jerseys and things like that. Like, all of a sudden, because Wolfpack, everyone, you're a bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
And Beckham was one of the biggest stars on the planet. You know what I mean? And getting him, that was bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah. You want to look at those rest of those questions, right?
Okay.
They're up there if you want.
I was just going to bring one up. Well, okay. Here's Dave Shafosky, my mate, Russian. Thoughts on the rumour that
Clinton's
Raylene
brother?
Castle, yeah, second cousin.
Sweet.
No. Raylene Castle will be replacing Todd Greenberg. That won't happen. She reminds me of the
Greenberg's struggling though, yeah.
Yeah,
It's because Channel 9 hate him. That's why.
Yeah,
I don't think.
but Pete Volandes come out and support him. So
Yeah.
Volandes has come in rock solid.
Yeah.
Full credit for the job he's doing.
Yeah,
he's just
he is
backing
putting both-
he's backing everybody. He's come in.
He's got
bringing
both
his own
feet
perspective.
forward and just getting stuck in, trying to get shit going. Good on him.
And you've got the time to get him in. This is enormous. Like when I compare this to someone as, it's like back in 9/11 when the mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, some people were questioning him. He'd had some sort of extramarital affair, this and that. They were questioning him, and yet his leadership at a crucial time was outstanding. Giuliani he was on the cover of Time magazine as Man of the Year.
Well, that's it. It always seems like the people that are in power when struggling times, they always end up on top, doesn't it? I think they always because they're
the true leaders. Whatever you've done before, no one cares about what happened before, but you rise to the occasion. It's like even in sport.
It's like Mike Little right now, just with West Mitchell.
That's the time. Like he's
Mike Little, Dick isn't.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Like Raylene Castle, she's on the fly. Rugby Australia, it's in massive problems.
Oh,
There'll
shambles.
be more to hear about that. We haven't heard as much about them as we have from other sports at this time, but they'll
be trying to
definitely
keep it as
struggling.
low key as
and
possible.
they're paying out big money to Israel for that.
They can't resurrect that shit.
Nah,
You know what I mean?
should just
Yes,
crucify it
they
and
can't.
have it done. You know.
And those sort of things, like unfortunately, yeah. And what did Noxie say? If she was to get that job, you'd know she'd have to have a lot of dirt on key people.
Yeah.
And it would be, I could not see that ever happening.
No.
You know, mate, Ross Brownlee, Roscoe, what'd you say? I can't see.
He says, your thoughts on having
having
an
an
adjusted
adjusted
season. Is it fair to put all teams at 0 or should the first 2 rounds count?
First
no,
2 rounds
it's
should
got to
definitely
count. They have to count.
I
You're
think
out
it's
there playing fair income footy. You have
and
to count 'em.
it's only like it doesn't take much to open your eyes and see. Either way, you had to go out and win a game of football to get those points. It's not like a couple of teams were just given a few points before the season. You still had to go out. You still had to put in. You still had to win those games. Blokes still got injured. Blokes still got hurt. Blokes still made debuts. Stuff like that. Like, what are you going to say if they take those points away and say those games never counted?
All right.
The Bronx had 2 debutants in the first 2 rounds.
Ask Jamil Hopewadi if he
Exactly.
thought those 40 games meant nothing.
Exactly.
Who waited
And then
all
you
his
ask,
life
same as
and changed
Ethan
his
Bully
life.
more.
Yeah.
How about you,
Yeah, they
how about you
changed him.
ask Jaden Brayley, who tore his ACL? So, no, those games meant nothing.
Who's hobbling around, yeah.
They meant fucking everything because they were competition games. They were scheduled matches. And why would we?
People they would have got match payments for them too.
If we got a shortened season already, why would we shorten it even more by another 2 games?
Yeah.
We've already got 2 games done. We can play 13 more and make it a 15-round season, or we can play 15 more, make a 17-round season. We all play each other once.
Yeah. So
Instead of taking those 2 games away and making them mean nothing, just add them. Oh, it just doesn't. That's one thing. It just really doesn't sit well with me.
Your thoughts?
And Nick Politis has come out and
Yeah,
demanded
that's
they get,
ridiculous.
and only because the Roosters have fucking
haven't
lost,
won a game.
have dropped 2 on the trot. Pull your head in, fuckhead. Dead set.
And my thoughts too. You win the comp. It's still rugby league, and we're still doing all the same things. Ricky Stewart summed it up well yesterday on the radio when he said, someone asked him, Paul Kent asked him, should they experiment with different rule changes and this, or this? And he goes, well, if you do that, you're just going to be putting an asterisk next to whoever the premiers are. If we're gonna play, we've got to be fair income about this, you know, things like that. And I agree. This is not time to experiment with rules. If you're gonna do that, do it in a trial game. You know, I've been saying
for as long as I can remember. Why we keep adding every year? It seems like we're trying to add more rules.
Yeah,
and rules.
just chill.
Just leave the game alone.
And you get to these rules.
You know what I find is, sorry to cut you off, Wrighty, but it's like they've watched Big Bash and they're like, oh, we got to be like that.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it is.
Yeah, like you're trying to be a carnival event.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you want to do that at Nines tournament.
Yeah.
It's a Nines.
Exactly right.
For a year.
opportunity
Yeah,
for it.
to test out things like that. Do it at even international ones and
Yeah.
in the club one. You can trial all that shit then.
Exactly, and they do. Like they kind of that nice
Which
one when
is
it
good.
felt like a big bash.
I
Didn't
don't
it,
understand.
Wrighty?
The reason they change these rules like so frequently now. They're trying to change rules every year, add something else to make it a more appealing product for people who don't watch rugby.
Oi, Bunker,
What
just
about-
learn your own fucking rules
It's like,
first.
what
before
about the
adding it.
people?
That-
What about the
someone
people
asked
who
me
do watch rugby? What about rugby league fans, tragics like us? What about us? We love the game that it used to be, and every year you're changing it to try and appeal
know.
to some
You've
other
got to
cunt.
think too.
And then also have a shower cam, for fuck's sake.
Thank
no,
fuck. Can
no,
you
After, can you imagine
Freddie's getting on the board.
how
We're
would
going to
you
vote.
be?
Can you
in.
imagine the viewing ratings of the shower cam after?
Especially
Yeah,
if you got like
just by you, my friend, you'd be
Imagine
number
that.
one.
Imagine
viewer.
With
Origin
commentating,
time, yeah,
with
you just-
commentating to it, they're like, oh well, he's got his sluggy. It's a pretty
and
decent
there's just
one.
Cam
and,
Murray standing there, chiseled as fuck, looking like the best looking bloke of all time.
All right, we've got some more questions up there.
Was that it?
No, I thought there'd come more. Is that it?
That's it on that feed.
But
I'll go to this one.
have a bit of a look because some people send them on different pages.
Stanton.
Stanty did ask a question, yeah. Yeah, here we are. Should the Roosters be allowed to turn
That's
around
what
to
we
the
just
NRL and
discussed.
say they want the whole comp to go back to zero? Nah,
No.
because if they do that, then other clubs can come in with their own personal demands as well.
Yeah.
And how do we cater to everyone? That gets that
Yeah.
point like what I said about Ricky Stewart, where he said, you start tinkering with too many things on this, it's gonna be a fast goal competition. It's gonna be more like not a tournament than an actual competition where you've got to do the tough yards. I got a great question here from Luke Shrama. What's your thoughts? What's going to happen if league comes back this season for the local competitions with no Q Cup, Colts, etc.? Do you think players will drop back, filter into local comps? Pros, cons, especially within Brisbane players dropping down the standards a lot more. A lot may miss out on footy. Yeah, I think I've already seen an article where they were talking in the Townsville Rugby League with the Cup not playing, how all those Blackhawks contractor blokes will be dropping back there. So you'd imagine, I know the Brahmins, Ty Ingrid's team he coaches, they're not going to be able to compete in this comp because stuff due to sponsorship things, even if it does get off the ground. But you'd assume those country regions, and you'd assume in the Gold Coast, Burleigh have got their reserve grade playing the Goldie comp. So you'd assume a lot of these cup guys, they start floating down. It's an unfair advantage if these blokes all filtered down.
Yeah, it's like turning water into wine.
Yeah.
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah.
In Light and One.
Or
To
Fiji.
do that, all the head of all people who run these competitions, you have to extend these comps into into have more divisions, so to restore normality.
Which would be way too hard. It'd be like
Oh,
feeding
100%.
1,000 people with a loaf of bread.
Yeah, it would not happen. I just couldn't see it happening. It'd just prove to be an unfair advantage if you had blokes at those levels. Well, can you imagine Broncos contractor players coming back and playing against Prem grade, like reserve grade? Like at Mitchie, we'd get heaps of West guys come powering back
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Well, them fuckers would be
where
playing
they'd be
threes, I tell
pushed
you that, because
down.
we've got a gun
they'd
side.
be
Yeah.
pushing back.
Fuck, we had to go inside, but also shout out to Shrams for fucking the follow, man.
You know, yeah. Shrams,
Yeah.
thanks for your support, brother. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate
Love
it.
We
Oi,
love
but
it.
oi, let's break this slut down because we've been going for 78 minutes.
That's the spirit.
But yeah, we've been going longer than fucking it takes for Jesus to be resurrected.
Right. We all good?
Yeah. Danny, you got anything? Have you signed up to so Pornhub Premium? I don't think they're doing it anymore. So you either got in or you're not in.
I didn't get in.
Did you get in?
No, I
Right?
didn't
No,
get
man.
in.
Ah, fuck it.
Yeah,
man.
but see, I'm like a fucking maybe a 4-minute warrior. Maybe
Are you
5,
got a missus at the moment?
Nah.
Okay, but you saw my TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk after this.
Okay. Good on you, boys.
Oh, you're a shit bloke.
And right, man.
Wrapping it up. All right. Boys and girls, everyone's pumped, pushing on. The majority of people are doing the right thing, looking after each other, staying home whenever's possible. just think of it. When in doubt, we got plenty of episodes on Any Given Monday or Rugby League in America podcast. Shout out to Nate. You can listen to one of those. Just keep doing the right thing, people. I know Easter's a bit of a crazy time. There'll be plenty of people getting fined for going out, not obeying the isolation regulations and so forth. But Rugby League will be back. Where the powers that be are just fighting through this. Whether it's at local level, NRL should be back this year, and we'll get to see some Origin.
It'd be
Fingers
sweet. It just
crossed.
gives us a new level of appreciation when it's back. I
Yeah.
think.
And I think
gonna
it will.
complain about watching
So when-
Dogs and Titans.
Yeah.
When we-
or what sex you are, what fucking gender you got to be called, you know?
When-
Well, that's shit.
When footy does come back, everybody get around it, support it, get to an NRL game, get to local footy games, wherever they may be, get to Intrust Super games, get to New South Wales Cup, wherever you like. Just get down, support the game. Think of all the volunteers that given their doing all these things for nothing. A lot of people have lost jobs in footy clubs and throughout the world. Stay strong, everybody, and we'll be back in a week. All the best, and don't be a mercenary.
Sweet. Cheers, boys.
Yeah, boys.